time I read the message for the 5th time, it didn't feel sharp anymore. It felt flat. Heirs only. No dead ends. Don't bring your daughter. I had first seen it while standing in line at a pharmacy, holding a box of cough syrup and a small stuffed rabbit my daughter had insisted on. I remember blinking at the screen, rereading it once, then sliding my phone back into my pocket like it was nothing important. Later that night, after she was asleep, I read it again, then again. That was when it started to hurt. Not because it was cruel in some dramatic way. My father had never been dramatic. Preferred precision. He knew how to carve people down with neat, economical words, dead ends. As if a life that didn't match his blueprint simply stopped existing. I typed back slowly. I won't come, then, 3 minutes later. Good. We don't need your drama. I stared at that sentence for a long time. I wasn't sure what drama he meant. I hadn't argued. I hadn't explained. I hadn't defended my daughter. I had just stepped aside. That, apparently, was dramatic. For 2 days, I told myself I was fine. I went to work, packed lunches, helped with spelling homework, answered emails, laughed at something my coworker said, paid bills. But underneath it, something kept tightening. When I was growing up, Father used to introduce me as the thoughtful one. Not the successful one, not the ambitious one. Just thoughtful. Sounded kind, but it was a way of saying I wasn't going anywhere important. Brother was a future leader. My cousin was real businessman. I was reliable. Reliable people don't inherit anything. They maintain. I learned early not to ask for much. When I became a parent, I thought that might change things. Imagined he'd soften when he saw how carefully I tried, how hard I worked, how my daughter looked at me like I was something solid. Instead, he became more selective, more specific, as if narrowing his circle would somehow protect his status. After the message, tell anyone. Not my brother. Not my friends. Not even my daughter's mother, who would have been furious on my behalf, want outrage. I didn't want comfort. I wanted quiet. 2 weeks earlier, I had been invited to a civic recognition dinner. It wasn't glamorous. Mostly local officials, nonprofit workers, small business owners. Part of a community redevelopment project for years. Organizing meetings, translating paperwork, convincing skeptical residents to participate. Unseen work, necessary work. The governor was scheduled to attend briefly. Shake hands. Give a short speech. Leave. I hadn't even mentioned it to my father. Why would I? It wasn't impressive in his language. When I declined his birthday, the dinner date suddenly stood out in my calendar. Same night. Same restaurant. Different rooms. Considered skipping it. The idea of being anywhere near his celebration made my stomach tighten. But my daughter had been excited when I told her about the fancy dinner. She wanted to see me in a suit. She wanted to sit somewhere with cloth napkins, so we went. We arrived early. The room was still half empty. White tablecloths, soft lighting, a small stage in the corner. Our table was near the front, reserved for project coordinators and guests of honor. Felt slightly fraudulent sitting there, adjusting my tie, reminding my daughter not to swing her feet into the chair. She whispered, "You look nervous?" "I'm just thinking," I said. "About what?" "About how lucky I am to be here with you." She smiled like she believed me completely. That helped. People filtered in, familiar faces, handshakes. Small talk about funding cycles and zoning delays, kind of conversations that never make headlines but decide how neighborhoods live or die. Then I saw my father walk in. He was laughing. He had that confident posture he reserved for public settings. Shoulders back, chin lifted. He was surrounded by relatives and business associates, people who admired him or needed him or both. He hadn't expected to see me, knew that immediately. His eyes scanned the room the way they always did, assessing, categorizing. Then they landed on me, front table, with my daughter. For a second, he didn't move. Then he smiled politely. If he'd simply encountered an acquaintance he couldn't quite place. He looked away. I felt a familiar instinct rise in me shrink. Don't make this awkward. Don't disrupt his evening. I focused on my daughter's plate. The governor arrived shortly after. No fanfare. Just security, quiet coordination, a ripple of attention. He greeted the organizers first, thanked volunteers, shook hands methodically. When he reached our table, he stopped. "Good to see you," he said, using my name easily. I stood. He gestured for me to sit. "Please. You've earned a break tonight." He turned to my daughter. "And you must be the reason your parent works so hard." She nodded solemnly, laughed softly. Then, clearly, audibly, he said, "Your leadership on the Riverside project changed how we think about community partnerships. We're using your model in 3 other districts." It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was official. It was real. I thanked him. My voice didn't shake, though I felt something loosen inside my chest. When I glanced up, my father was standing a few tables away. He wasn't smiling anymore. He looked disoriented, like someone had rearranged a room he thought he knew by heart. Later, during dessert, he approached. "Didn't know you were involved in this," he said. "Not I'm proud. Not I'm sorry. Just that." I replied. He nodded, looked at my daughter. Hesitated. "She's growing." "Yes," I said. He lingered as if waiting for something, an invitation, maybe. A reconciliation scene. It didn't come. We exchanged a few more polite sentences. About traffic. About the weather. About nothing. Then he returned to his table. On the drive home, my daughter was quiet. Finally, she said, "Grandpa looked surprised tonight." "Did he?" "Yeah, when you opened the wrong door." I laughed softly. That night, after she slept, sat in the dark and thought about everything I hadn't said to him over the years. About how much I had wanted his approval. About how carefully I had tried to earn it. And about how, somehow, I had built a life without it. The dinner didn't fix anything, didn't apologize. We didn't suddenly understand each other. But something shifted. Not in him, in me. Stopped waiting for him to see my worth. I had already learned how to live it, and my daughter had seen it too. That felt like enough.